It is time once again for the weekly closes on our favorite Bitcoin miners. Let's get started with CleanSpark. You can see CleanSpark here on the weekly. We've been getting pinned to the 200-week moving average here since late December. So basically the entire month of January, we've been pinned down here. We've been going up to the 21-week up at $12, but we keep getting sent right back down to that until we conquer that 21-week moving average there at 1203. We are going to be continuing to revisit the 200-week, which is currently curling down here, and it is down at 967. So hopefully next week, this little wick on the bottom here tells us hopefully next week that we come up and we will test the 50-week up at 1424. That would be great for CleanSpark. And if we can finally break above 1537 over here, this ends up being a huge wicked double bottom for the weekly that would likely send us back up into the 20s and possibly higher when it does unload. But we are patiently waiting for this. Bitcoin continues to drive higher and hold strong above $100,000. CleanSpark is one of the most efficient miners around. They've got a 10,000 Bitcoin hodl, and they are planning to expand their operations of Bitcoin mining even further. So as long as Bitcoin is doing well, we can expect that CleanSpark will eventually get out of this slump and eventually go higher, especially since they have started to shift away from dilution and towards convertible notes, which I do know is dilution eventually, but that dilution is years in the future. That is a problem for next cycle, not this cycle, the convertible notes that they are moving to as a debt instrument versus dilution. Okay, so keep that in mind. So we really just need to get above that $15 range. Once we're above $15 again, we are going to get up and above this resistance here on the left that goes all the way up to like $18, $19. So once we're above 15, we're gonna struggle to get to over 18, but we'll get stuck in that box. And once we're above 18, we're basically free and clear to go as high as this thing possibly can. One thing I like is that the BX trender here, this middle oscillator I've got out of the three, I've got the MACD, which is getting close, trying to do a cross up on the weekly. I've got the stochastics down here, which have gone flat, which is a sign that there's not really momentum up or down. And then, but the BX trender here is trending upward. You can see the bars are getting smaller on the red side here, and this line is starting to curl over, which is a sign that we could be seeing growing momentum to the upside coming through for CleanSpark. See if the warrants show anything interesting on the weekly chart. Kind of. Let me turn off all these drawings. Okay, kind of. Yeah, you see how we came down and we're going flat and we are just compressing. I'll turn the drawings back on. So right in this area specifically, not that one. That one already broke. But right here, you see this line here, and that one already broke. So I'm going to go ahead and use that as my example here, right there. This triangle right there. It's just compressing. When this thing breaks out, it's going to be violent. This is going to be a violent move in whatever direction it goes to, but I think it's going to be up because CleanSpark has been coming down for the majority of this move, and it's been just compressing, holding strong around this 80-cent level. With the lows peaking down to 61 and highs peaking up to about 94. It's just compressing, and when it finally is done, it is going to explode higher, very likely. Okay. And of course, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Just my thoughts when I look at these charts. And that's CleanSpark warrants. Let's look at Btdigital. Btdigital is getting a little interesting. Ethereum didn't exactly break out, but it looks like it's starting to catch a bid. You can see here that the weekly MACD is starting to flatten out. That's good. We're getting white on the oscillator. The BX trender here, you can see that is also getting a bit nicer to the upside there on the oscillator. It's not huge, but it is printing smaller bars. This line for that one is straight down, and it is likely going to start curling back down. Look at that. Oh, that's what that one is. That makes sense. Okay, yeah. Oh, and we got yellow on the stochastics. Look at that. The fast is yellow. And if that can curl up, this could move up quickly. We need to conquer the 200-week moving average on this thing, which is at $4.05. Ethereum's been really holding this thing down. It's really Ethereum holding this thing down. I mean, they've got HPC, they've got Bitcoin, they've got Ethereum, and they're being just absolutely smothered, even though there's a huge AI bill coming through, and they're not a huge player in the AI space, but they are a player in the AI space. And they've got Ethereum, lots of Ethereum staking. Once that starts breaking out, I think we're going to be seeing some special things out of this stock specifically. I do like that we're basing higher than we based before. So we based down here in April 2024, right? Then we based up a little bit higher in September, and then now we're basing a little higher again, which if you notice from April, that high to that higher low, and then we made a higher high in November, and we're making a higher low now. Are we going to make a higher high, higher than 572? Let's hope that that's the case. And then we tap this line up here. We tap this line up here in the sixes. I think I might be out of Bitdigital for a little while. And that's kind of my idea. I'm thinking it's going to hit this line. And once it hits that line, if it doesn't splice right through it and go right up to $9, $10, well, then you better believe I'm going to be selling on that line unless it's really strong upward movement at that line. Bitfarms is still just getting stuck down there. It's basing lower than it was before. It's making lower highs and lower lows. Bitfarms is in trouble. It's in trouble. It looks like it's stuck beneath the 200-week moving average here. It looks like it's really trapped in this big descending channel that I've got drawn on my chart here. It has broken this yellow line here to the downside. So you know what? That is now going to be resistance. That is now going to be resistance. So I'm going to change the color of this thing from yellow to red. I'm going to make it a 2 pixel so it's a little less noticeable, but that is now resistance. That is going to resist the price going higher on this thing. So like right now, next week, the highest it would go would be like $2 before that resistance would slap it down. And there's tons of resistance to the left side here. There's just a lot in the way there with this thing, just challenging Bitfarms. This also kind of looks like it's either a base or a bear flag, which if it breaks below 155, we fall down to $1 on Bitfarms. And that's really just going to take one level of bad news for that to happen. Now, good news, if it gets some good news, I expect maybe it'll try to test the 21-week moving average at 193, but like that's really the highest I see it going anytime soon. Maybe the 50 at 220, but I really don't see it doing much more than that anytime soon, unless there's something exceptional in the pipeline for Bitfarms. All right, let's take a look at Mara. Mara is finally trying to scrape off the bottom of this big ascending channel that I've got it in right now. Let me turn off the drawings here for a second. Okay. So it's got this huge ascending channel that it's been in, honestly, since January 2023. And we've gone to the top of it, we've come to the bottom of it, we went almost to the top of it, we're back at the bottom of it right now, and we look like we're trying to move higher again. Now, again, this is just like CleanSpark. We got this low basing here, right? And then we got a higher high. So basically, okay, let me go over here. So we had a low back here, right? We made highs, then we made a lower high, then we made a higher low, and now we made a higher high from this high in July, and we're making a higher low. Are we going to make a higher high than this right now and drive to the top of this channel here, which is at $34, which would be the high for the year? Well, the high for the last 52 weeks anyways, not the year. I do like this, that we had a megaphone, right? So let me go zoom in here, right here. We had a megaphone right here. Mara had been making a megaphone right there for about a month, and now we're in the top end of that megaphone. Now we haven't broken it yet. We have not broken that megaphone yet. To break that megaphone, we're going to have to go above this line right here. Let me make this white, and I'm going to lock that down. We've got to get above that white line before that megaphone is broken. If that megaphone doesn't break, we could find ourselves coming back to the bottom of it, which would be all the way down at $15. That would be really unpleasant for Mara, but I don't see it necessarily doing that as long as it holds above that $19.80 level, $19.80 level. Let's go on to that. Let's draw this, turn off the drawings for a second. Okay, so we've got all these moving averages holding us up right here. I think Mara is closer to the bottom than the top right now. Look at this. We got the 21, the 50, the 200, the 5, all stacked right on top of each other there. In fact, I've got a one I want to turn off here. Let me turn off VWAP. All right, there we go. They're all just stacked right on top of each other. We got a doji showing indecision. We had a megaphone, and then we got a doji that landed right on top of all of those moving averages. I like Mara where it is right now. I have been buying Mara calls for the end of 2025. That is what I'm doing right now with Mara. I like where it is right now. I like that megaphone. I like that. You look here on the MACD oscillator. It did cross down a couple weeks ago, but it is going flat. It is the oscillator here is turning white. The BX trender for the last 2 weeks has been printing lower lows on the oscillators. You can see that the stochastics have gone flat here, and this fast one is about to turn yellow. I would not be surprised at all to see Mara trading at $35 in a couple of weeks, as long as Bitcoin can hold itself up where it is right now. So watch out for Mara. Mara is getting ready for a move, and it's going to happen quick when it does. And it might take a while. It might test your patience, but when it happens, it's going to happen so fast, you're going to be like, wow. it's going to do a face rip and move, just like it has every time it's done a big green candle, big face rip of like 40%, right? 30% was this one back in November, 23%. Big moves like that are going to come through. All right, let's take a look at Riot. How's Riot doing? Riot is looking more like it's at a top than a bottom. So they had the MACD cross up here back in October, and it kind of went up, and then it came back down to the 50, and then it's back up. It's getting trapped beneath the 200-week moving average at 1481. As long as it's below that thing, I see it coming back down to test the 50, honestly. And you can see the BX trend has been getting a little bit nicer. It's getting lime green there. It's going up. The MACD is going up. The stochastics are pointing up. Those are all good things, but looming ahead is the 200-week moving average at 1481, and it is keeping it beneath that until we get a candle that closes above this thing. I think that we're going to be trapped under it with Riot here for a while. Now, I don't dislike this. It's not impossible. I think we could come back down to the 21, down around 1141, and then bounce up and slice through this thing. But I don't know if it's going to happen right now. It's not showing me a lot of really strong volume. I'm not seeing anything too exciting. Here, look at all this volume here. It's just the bears and the bulls fighting right here. So, like, it really needs to get above that 200-week for Riot before I'm really interested. Iren. Lovely Iren. Look at this thing. My cup and handle's playing out. Did I get it to break? Oh, actually, I bet I already have that drawn on there. I do. It broke it. Yeah, so it broke this line here. That's great. As long as it holds this line here, I'm saying my cup and handle is intact. And if it gets above this green line here at 1580, cup and handle confirmed, and this thing is going to go up to the $19 range once it does that, once it conquers at 1580. I have done this just the other day, where I showed you that, let's see here, go here on the cup and handle, we go to the bottom of the cup, we go to the brim of it. Ideally, this thing could actually hit $25. I'll be selling long before 25. I'm going to sell about 25%, at least 25% of my position when it taps around like 1950-ish, just below $20, and then wait to see what it does. If it shows weakness, I'm going to offload the rest above 18. If it shows strength, I'm going to hold it into the low 20s. Okay, that's what I'm doing with the Iren. Now. Okay, so we bounce off the 21. We're above the 50. Where is I don't even think it has a 200-week. It does not have a 200-week. So we're above the 50. We're above the 21. All signs are good for Iren right now. We've got a cross up on the weekly MACD. Beautiful. We've got the BX trender printing higher highs on the on its histogram. We've got yellow on the stochastics. We got a huge volume bar. Look at this thing. This volume bar is the largest that we've had since June 2024. So since June, this is the biggest volume bar we've had since June, and it is just straight up nothing fighting it. I like Iren right now. I'm very happy with this move on Iren. I'm very happy with this formation in Iren. I am looking for Iren to do a move up to nearly $20, maybe above. Okay. Oh, also, Iren is the most efficient Bitcoin miner in the public mining space of the tradable miners. Okay, keep that in mind. It is the most efficient. They don't have a HODL. They are getting into AI, and they are the most efficient miner on the market. So keep that in mind. They are mining their Bitcoin for way less than their competitors. They're mining Bitcoin for something like $40,000 or something like that. It was very, very low, while it is trading at $100,000, which is why I was so upset that it was falling, because it made no sense to sell a thing that is producing its product at a rate of like 300% profit. So it's in my mind, it's a keeper. Anyways, Corz. I like Corz actually, where it is. It's coming off of this move here. It's coming up. If Corz can get up and above 1677 there, I'm going to be feeling very good about Corz. Now, we do see the MACD is on the histogram is turning white. It is starting to curl up on the MACD. The BX trender, that histogram is doing nice. The stochastics are yellow. I actually like this right now. So in this situation, I would be looking for it either to just hold above where it currently is, so get above $16 next week, hold it there, and I would put my stop. Honestly, I would have a stop loss at 1352, and my target on this bad boy, it's hard to say necessarily, so we're gonna go with a fib. So we'll take a fib extension from the previous like swing low, which is down here. So we got our swing low, and that drove it up to here. Okay, boom, we came down to the 5 level almost on that, and I'd be looking for a target around $23. That would be like my target. Now, the previous all-time high is obviously my first target. Like my first take profit would be 1870 right here. So let me put a yellow, or let's put an orange one right there. Let's put an orange one right there. That would be my, let me turn off that one. Okay. So this yellow line right here, this is kind of like a line where I'm like, I really like to see it get above that before I'm like super interested and committed. But honestly, anything above $16. So let's just, it's locked. Okay, I'll leave it there. Anything above $16, I'm looking at it, trying to get back up into this channel here. I'd keep my stop loss on this one at about 13.52, because if it gets beneath 13.52 right here, which is the body of these big candles, you better believe it's coming all the way back down to this white line-ish down here. Which honestly, is this one locked too? I unlock that. It's coming back down to at least right here, about right there, $11-ish. If it goes beneath that, which is not like a huge drop, but it's a $2 drop. I don't want to deal with that. I'd watch the previous all-time high for it to struggle, see if it's going to struggle at 1870. If it starts to turn around, I'd cut my trade there. If it slices through 1870 with some strength, I'd be looking at it to potentially eventually move its way back up to 23.28. Back up, but move its way up there from this. That's what my expectation on Corz is right now. Am I trading Corz? No, I'm not trading Corz, but I am. That's how I'm looking at it right now. Take a look at Wulf. How's Wulf looking? Wulf, oh, that sucks. All right, so Wulf is in a similar position to Corz, but it does have the 200-week moving average. It's got to get above that 200-week moving average at 689. As long as it's below 689, I don't trust its moves. Okay. It is making something of a megaphone just like Mara. It made a doji, but that doji isn't quite above the megaphone. It's in the top upper half of it, but it's not quite at or above it. Okay. And that is a bit problematic for Wulf, and that has me a little bit concerned about Wulf. We did have that falling wedge that it's coming out of. So as soon as Wulf is trading above 689, I am going to say, yes, Wulf is going to run for that previous all-time high or previous cycle high at 9. And once it conquers 9, it's got room all the way up to like 13. And if it can take out 13, it's got room up to about 22. And if it can take out 22, it's got room up to 26. Okay, the Wulf is looking not bad. It's not bad. Not too bad at all. As long as it holds the 50. As long as it holds the 50-week moving average right here, which is kind of like that trend line starting from down here, right? It's a bit like this trend line. And now we're on a second angle here, right? This second angle, which, so here, I'll draw it. Hold on. So let me turn off some stuff so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so we had this first angle, which is this line right here, which I already have a line there, but I'll make another one. Okay, that's the first angle. Okay, this was an angle, but like I did it too early. So this was the second angle right here. This is the second angle, right? That one. That's the second angle. If we break this angle, we come down here. Now we're looking at potentially trying to make a third angle. Something like this one here, but longer lasting. And we'll have to wait to see if that plays out. But if we break this angle, so well, I guess you could say this was a third angle. So we had an angle right here as well, right? That one broke. We came down to the second angle. If we lose the second angle, we come down to the third angle. Honestly, if we come down to the third angle, I think it's pretty much done. So if we lose this second angle right here, I'm looking at this thing to end up playing all the way back down to 326 on Wulf, which would suck. That would suck real bad, but I don't think the cycle's over yet. So I think the second angle is going to hold. I think this falling wedge that I've got drawn on here is likely going to produce something, but it needs to get above the 200-week moving average before it can confirm that. Anything below the 200-week moving average, it's not confirmed, and I'm not touching it. Let's take a look at HUT. HUT, actually not too bad. Not too bad. It's holding up. It's holding up nice. It's got to stay above the 21 as long as it's above the 21, which it is currently. It's looking good. We got the MACD is getting a little close to a cross down. The BX trender histogram is getting a little smaller and smaller and smaller, so that's not ideal. But we do have yellow on the stochastics. We do have this candle. While it did come down, it is holding up above the 5-week moving average, so that is good. As long as it doesn't go back below the 21. If it goes beneath the 21, I'm gonna say I don't like it. But right now on HUT, I'm looking at this line right here, that white line that I just drew. As soon as it gets back above this, we're going back to the previous high. Okay, that's what we're looking at there. And then if we don't fail at the previous high, well, then we're going to go to the next high, which is going to be somewhere around 40s, in the 40s for HUT. So HUT, they're not a super efficient miner, but HUT does have a huge hodl, a pretty big hodl, comparable to CleanSpark. So that is where they get a lot of their value from. Take a look at Cifr. How's Cifr doing? Cifr, honestly, and I pointed this out last week, Cifr is one of my favorite charts in terms of it just looks so good. It's just train tracks up, 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 very consistent, very consistent, very visual, very easy to see that this is just a slowly higher grinding stock, and it has been since December 2022, just grinding, up, 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 up. Unlike some like CleanSpark, which got up and then fell all the way back down. This one's just been consistently grinding higher. It is an unstoppable, like, this one is the little train engine that could. Okay, that's what Cifr is. Cifr is the little train engine that could. It just keeps going and it won't stop. And it just grinds a little higher every time, just pushing a little more every time. Keeps doing that. And I like that. I like that a lot actually for Cifr. I haven't been trading it lately, but I do like its chart. Anyways, so on this one, let's see, it's holding above the 21. That's really good. We got a bit of a doji. I don't love that, but we did see on the MACD it is starting to curl up. You can see on the BX trender the histogram is starting to give off some of that pressure here. You can see on the stochastics they are getting smaller, ready to turn yellow and then green. And once we get this thing to turn yellow on the weekly, and it holds it for a week and stays yellow and doesn't turn back to being pink again, well, you better believe we're going to come up and test this line up here at $7, maybe even the high back here at 8 for Cifr. So that's going to be pretty great. And if Cifr does those nice big moves up, you can believe that the warrants will be looking at trying to come back up towards that $2, maybe even $3 level. And this is the kind of thing I want to see out of the CleanSpark warrants when CleanSpark finally makes a good holdable move. Let's take a look at HIVE. How's HIVE doing? HIVE is it's basing. HIVE is basing. So I've said this before, and I'll say it again. HIVE is in an area where I would look for a swing on HIVE. Okay, it's at the base, it's at the low, it's at the most traded level for the last 2 years. Okay, the last over 2 years, actually 2.5. For the last 2.5 years, this level here between 284 and 330 is the most traded level of HIVE. All right. If you have conviction in HIVE as a stock, this is your accumulation zone where it is right now. Could it go below this? Yes. It's done it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times in the last 2.5 years, but it consistently comes back, accumulates a little more here, and then drives higher than this by, what was the minimum move up from this box? Let's go ahead and look. What was the minimum move up from this box? The minimum move up from this box was 38%. And it did it in 1, 2, 3 weeks, in 1 week, other time. Like, it does that move up 38% often in 1 week from this box. This is the area. This is your zone. If you are not loving HIVE here, then you are not loving HIVE. Okay, so I'm not saying that, honestly, I don't trade this one. Okay, I don't trade this one. But 38%. When this thing pops, it's going to pop 38%. It's going to do it in a week or two. Okay, this is the area that someone big accumulates HIVE, and they've done it many, many, many times, collecting at least 38% every time, and they've done it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times. This is going to be the 9th time that they would make that 38% pop off of this accumulation zone for HIVE. So if you're not if you trade HIVE and you're not looking at it here, you're out of your mind. And of course, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Now, where do I think HIVE is going to go from here when it does pop up? Well, one, I think it's going to do that minimum move up to 458. I think it's going to hit 458. It's pretty much done it every single time except these 2 times back here in January 2023 and April 2023, which really aren't time periods when you see these things pop. Usually you see them pop in July and November. Okay, maybe February if you're lucky, like it happened last year, which threw me off last year. Okay, anyways, the highest I think this thing is likely to go after 458 is probably this line right here, which will probably happen sometime in February or March. So let's call it $5.40. I think it can do 5.40. I think it can do a little over $2. I think it can do $2.30 from where it currently is. Okay, so a $1,000 investment in that will get you. Let's see here. It will get you a little over 300 shares. I don't know why I was bringing up the calculator. It'll get you a little over 300 shares. Get you about $2.30 for that. You're looking at what, like $750 or something of profit if you did 1,000. So it'd be $17.50 that you'd be selling it for. I don't know if that math is actually mathing because I just did it in my head real quick. It's probably off by a little bit, but you can expect something about that. So HIVE, I like where it is. It's below all of it. It looks like. From a technical perspective, looks terrible, but you can see on the chart very clearly someone accumulates here repeatedly, and they've done it 9 times in the last 2.5 years, and I don't think that they're done now, especially with it being the Bitcoin bull run in 2025. I don't think they're done accumulating right here. Okay, let's take a look at Soluna. Soluna is, honestly, it had a big week last week. It was up 25% off these lows. Like, it came to so it went into my little accumulation zone, right, which has been at the accumulation zone, what, like 1, 2, 3 times. It's been lower. I went to the lower accumulation zone before popping out again, but last time it did that, right? Last time it did that, came down, and then it popped all the way up to $8. So that'd be pretty cool if it did that. I've only got like 150 of these things because it's a lotto play. I'm not trying to go broke on this thing. But yeah, I like where it is right now. I don't hate this at all. I can see this once it breaks this line right here, this yellow one, this line right there, boom, we're going right back up to $6, $7, $8 on this one. The BX trender is showing that the momentum is turning the other way. You can see the MACD starting to curl up. You can see that we're at the bottom on the stochastic, but it's turning yellow and it's going to turn green real soon. So I like that. I like that a lot. Let's take a look at CAN. How's CAN doing? CAN came all the way down to the 21 and bounced. That's good. Okay, that's good. That's actually a pretty healthy move. Now, what am I waiting for here? So I wouldn't jump in just yet on CAN. I am waiting for the MACD to start turning green on the histogram again. On the BX trender, same thing. I want to see it go to a lime green. I want to see a green dot on this thing. I want to see the stochastic here turn yellow. The stochastic will probably turn yellow before any of these other things. And once I see that, that is a sign to me that this bounce is going to bounce. It's going to go for this high up here at $3.07 again for until then, it could go further down and hit the 50-week at 138. So we're waiting for the momentum to come back. Once the momentum returns for CAN, well, then we are ready to roll. And this one is the opposite of Cifr. As you can see, it just train tracks down, just down, grinding lower, grinding lower, grinding lower, grinding lower. And finally, with this little move right here that we got, it stopped grinding lower. Okay, look at that. We broke this downward trend and we came back and tested it from above. This is breakout retest on CAN. So I actually do think CAN has a move here. And I think that ultimately, from a technical perspective, CAN could go as high. Let's see, off of this. So we'll go from the bottom to the top of the flag. Actually, you know what? Let's be a little more conservative. Let's go from this base right here, which is that little flat piece just before broke out. So right there, okay. Off of this flag, from the peak of it, we could see this thing go up about 400% total from top to bottom, or bottom to top, and come out to about $5.60, which would technically take us right to this level of resistance from the previous highs up here, right into that. Okay, that is possible. This thing could do like a 4x here off of this move. Off of this move alone, it could. Will it? I don't know. I think the 200 is going to pose a challenge. I think that this little area right in here, about like $4.50 to $5, is going to pose quite the challenge for CAN. But technically, just off of this breakout and retest, we could go up to over $5 off of that alone. So CAN is not out of the game yet. And I just want to see momentum flip in on CAN, and CAN can do a 400% plus move. So keep your eyes on CAN. What about Btdr? Btdr is doing a similar sort of thing here on the weekly, right? It doesn't have a lot of history here, but we were going flat, basically flat between $13 and $6, right? Like just kind of fluctuating, and we finally got a breakout and a retest. Okay, we got a breakout and a retest here. Now, what needs to happen with Btdr? Btdr needs to now see the momentum come back in. So basically, we're talking the stochastics turning pink turning yellow and green. The BX trender here turning lime green with a green dot, and the MACD, the histogram turning up, and the MACD blue line pointing up. That's what we want to see. We see that on Btdr. Btdr is going to take off, and how high can Btdr go? Okay, this is the exact same pattern as CAN, so I'm going to do the exact same thing. We're going to go from the bottom of the move, about right here, to the top of the move, right? So right here, we're going to draw it about right there, and we're going to say boom, right there. That is the ultimate highest peak it can do off of that flag, off of that breakout retest. Should be about $44, which is a little more than a double up from its current position. So it's no 400x, but this one could do 100%. Whereas CAN could do like a 400%, but Btdr is set to where it could do potentially a 100% move off of that. So anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio, and have a profitable day.